Gine,
Bardock? Why are you back so suddenly?
get Kakarot out of the pod. We're heading out. I have a bad feeling about Frieza. Kakarot, you're the last hope of the Saiyans.
Don't blast anyone's head off, my little one.
And grow stronger than your dad.
And eat all the food you want.
And remember to not look up at the full moon.
Bardock, why would you say that?
What's wrong? I was just following your lead.
He's only 3 years old, Bardock. He's not gonna remember what we're saying.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure Kakarot isn't going to harm anyone.
Much later.
Be sure to eat everything, Goku.
Oh boy, I'm starving! Hey Grandpa, what's that in the sky?
Oh, that would be the full moon, Goku. What the fuck?!
If you know me already, you know that there are 3 characters that are tied for my favorite spots in Dragon Ball. Krillin, Frieza, and Bardock. Funny how the racist dictator is in my favorites, and when he kills the other 2. Hey, the other 2 are voiced by Sonny Strait if you didn't know. Bardock, while only appearing in the 48-minute special out of the 291 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, has always been a fan favorite, and my top 3 Dragon Ball characters of all time. A character that spent his swell time on the screen showing his prequel story, but is also a character that people want more of. Why? Well, for one, he's Goku's father. I mean, who wouldn't want more from the father of one of the greatest manga characters of all time? A person that Goku never met. But also, it's because of how much of a well-written character Bardock was in that special. And Toriyama made sure our wish had been granted by making Bardock a poorly written character. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The current version of Bardock is not that bad. This isn't a hate video towards Super Bardock. But the thing is, there have been multiple new versions of Bardock. Like, this character is so beloved that he's been rewritten and shoved in so many new stories in modern Dragon Ball. Some what-ifs, some non-canon, and some that are, sadly, canon. And what inspired me to make this video is that I recently just finished the Granola Arc. And, I have some certain things to say. Feeling low on your aura? Well,
this is what you need.
Blazing auras, Ballora. And let's get into why Bardock is one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball, why he's so beloved, and how each new version of him just doesn't quite match the vision the original Bardock was going for. Get it? Because Vision and Bardock has future visions, and the title of the video could have been different visions of Bardock. Thank you to Sun NDE for voicing Bardock, Kel Sylvania for voicing Gine, Mais for voicing Kid Goku, Ramrar for voicing Grandpa Gohan, and Mercenary Tao. Wow, 48 for voicing King Piccolo, 4 for voicing Piccolo, and Francie Veal for voicing Goku. All of their casting calls are in the description. And if you want to be updated on when I do a new one, just follow mine in the description. As always, back to the video. Oh my gosh. Bardock in the Father of Goku special stands out immediately. Not just because he looks like Goku, but because he doesn't act like Goku. At least not one-to-one. Bardock is a ruthless, cold-hearted Saiyan killer, just like the rest of the Saiyans. As shown in the Saiyan arc itself, the Saiyans are barbaric and only lust for conquering their enemies and being powerful among the masses. They only yearn to be so strong so that they can wreck and sell planets. Power and massacre, that's all they care about. Bardock fits that description 100%. And let's add that he's a deadbeat father as well. He doesn't care about his son's birth because Goku's a low-class, weak warrior. Even when his comrades suggest seeing him, Bardock thinks it's just a waste of time. Only powerful warriors are worth giving a damn about. But he does check out his son's power when he crosses paths with him after healing. And he's disappointed that his son has a power level of 2. Which means at one point, all of us were stronger than Goku. Use that as motivation if you're ever down. But this isn't the only time that Bardock sees his son, since he was struck in the neck by Kanasin, a race that can see into the future.
I can see the future!
Yeah, you get the joke. It doesn't seem that useful when you know that you're going to be killed by the Saiyans. Fate is inevitable. That's something that Bardock can't accept when he's given the power to see into the future.
I can see.
Yes, we get the joke. An ability that should be helpful, but it actually ends up being a terrible nightmare that influences his fate. Bardock trying to change the future or change his fate ends up being what the future predicted. And this is part of why I love Bardock. His goal in the special doesn't make him a hero. Killing an evil dictator like Frieza is definitely a heroic thing, but he doesn't do it because Frieza's a villainous emperor. He does it because he obviously doesn't want the Saiyans to die, and because Frieza unnecessarily betrayed them after all they've done to help. Though, I will say, with how barbaric the Saiyans are, I would have a slight hint of fear if I were in Frieza's shoes. Oh wait, he doesn't wear shoes. If I were in Frieza's pod. Just imagine someone as strong as Broly coming to get revenge on me many years later. I would be terrified. Anyways, Bardock goes to find his comrades that went to eradicate a planet without him. Again, his Saiyan blood drives him to kill and conquer. And once he learns that Frieza ordered the Doria to kill his partners and aims to destroy Planet Vegeta, his only goal is to let the Saiyans retaliate. Too bad they're freaking stupid though. Bardock, bloodied and beaten down, who also says that his team died, is laughed at his comrades. Power level high, IQ level in hell. Or Hiffle. But even if they were to team up with Bardock, it would be pointless since none of them could stand up to Frieza. Bardock should know that Frieza is more than 50 times stronger than him, but he's desperate. Desperate to make a change. And despite putting his all to defeat Frieza and his army on his own, Bardock ultimately pays the price. Despite having a selfish want to keep himself alive, and a selfless will to defend his planet, Bardock fails as predicted. This is a tragedy. And the best thing about this is that Bardock doesn't die a hero. And I can't believe I need to explain that, but you know how some Dragon Ball fans are. Bardock's race pays the price, almost like karma, after destroying so many other races. This strong race that's feared by many is oblivious to their fate, when even one of them warns about Frieza's plan. Their only defender is oblivious to his own fate, even when it's shown that it's inevitable. And the person that kills them is hit by karma as well, when Goku grows up. This is a story about karma. It shows that the Saiyans are one word: stubborn. Bardock does not die a good person. His realization that Kakarot will face Frieza one day is kind of selfish because despite wanting Goku to avenge the Saiyans, he doesn't like what the Saiyans did throughout their lives. The only thing Goku likes about the Saiyans is their drive to fight, their Saiyan blood. Goku, if he met Bardock, would not like him because he is a stubborn, ruthless Saiyan that would continue to kill if he were still alive. Bardock would be proud of his son defeating Frieza, but disappointed in him living soft like an Earthling. And this is another reason as to why Bardock is my favorite character. He's the best version of an evil Goku that we have. That's a shocking statement given that he doesn't do quite a lot in this less than 47 minutes of screen time, but he definitely packs a punch. Goku Black is just Zamasu in Goku's body, Turles is just an evil Saiyan, and honestly, he's the real Goku Black, if you know what I mean. And really, every other evil Saiyan like Raditz and Nappa are no different from what an evil Goku would have been. But what makes Bardock special is how he's similar, yet contrasts from Goku. Bardock is a low-class warrior that doesn't get to improve himself, and dies for it. Goku is seen as a low-class warrior that eventually surpassed Vegeta, and all the other Saiyans. Bardock only cares about strength to kill and conquer, while Goku cares about strength to fight someone stronger, to better himself. Bardock dies alone, with no one able to help him, and heck, we can even mention how Raditz dies alone, with Vegeta and Nappa not resurrecting him. Goku stays alive because of all his friends he made along the way, and their search for the Dragon Balls. Bardock dies a man that no one cares for. Goku lives, and also dies, as the man that saved Earth, renowned by his friends and family, but the rest of the world doesn't really care about him. They care about Mr. Saiyan. Bardock is similar to Goku, but meets his fate because of how much of a stubborn, horrible Saiyan he is. History forgets him, as just another lowly Saiyan that Frieza had killed. And because of no one remembering Bardock, this influences fans to wonder what if Goku met Bardock. And like I said before, Bardock is just a nobody to Goku. Bardock would be proud of Goku killing Frieza, but won't accept of how much of a softie he's become. No true Saiyan pride. We even had this interaction in the first episode of the Saiyan arc. You're no brother of mine. Get the heck off my planet. So yeah, that pretty much sums up why I love Bardock. A tragic story that Toriyama admitted that he wouldn't have told at the time. But now we do have a new interpretation of Bardock. And let's just say it's not what I imagined it to be. But first, episode of Bardock, which is the first modern interpretation of the character written by Oishi Naho. This era of Dragon Ball had a lot of Bardock fan service, that I can tell Bandai and Toei wanted to cash in on such an underused character at the time. The games had many what-ifs for Bardock, and the biggest one being the mysterious Max Saiyan that was in Dragon Ball Online, Dragon Ball Heroes, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse. That's a lot of Bardock fan service. I swear, he got as much as Broly. They even got screen time in the same movie. Episode of Bardock isn't canon, thank Kami, but I felt it was interesting to give it a short segment. Episode of Bardock was released in 2012 to tie into Bardock getting a Super Saiyan form in Dragon Ball Heroes. You know, despite the hate the special gets, I don't mind how Bardock is characterized here. He's still an arrogant man only helping the people of Planet Plant out of circumstance, or because of his grudge against Frieza. He yells and threatens the people that try to help him, but eventually accepts their offerings when he needs it. There's no reason to wipe out this planet if he can't travel anywhere else, and because this is the past version of Planet Vegeta. Though, I think the first version of Bardock is leagues better, because this version of Bardock just honestly feels like Piccolo or Vegeta. Heck, if Vegeta can turn good, then maybe Bardock could. Even though I prefer him not to be good. We'll get into that later. Gine. Everything Bardock does in the special is because of his PTSD with Frieza. And that's literally the only thing I'm fine with in the special. Everything else is pretty bad. Let's go over the major problems. I don't like how Frieza talks to Bardock in the beginning, because Bardock is another insignificant Saiyan that needs no acknowledgement. Why does Frieza's blast send him back in time? What sense does that make? You're telling me that a large ki blast can just send people through time? Damn, if only Trunks knew about that. If that's the case, then...
Do you like bacon?
Why does Barry having a near-death experience cause Bardock to go Super Saiyan? The trigger was him thinking about him losing his comrades and not being strong enough. But Bardock shouldn't care that much for some little dude that brought him food over the course of a few panels. His trigger should have been seeing all the Planet Plant people hurt and him realizing that he almost failed to save Planet Vegeta for the second time. And finally, why does Bardock have to be the first Super Saiyan? Like, I get the want for him to be that, and sending him to the past creates that story, but like, time travel plot holes are the worst plot holes you can write into your story. Like, is this a time loop? Does Bardock create more Saiyans with his genes, meaning that he's the ancestor of himself? If so, then his sacrifice is still in vain, since Planet Vegeta will still perish, and does that also mean that Bardock creates more Saiyans in the Planet Plant bloodline because he has a kid with one of these people? Actually, I don't want to put that in my head, so let's just move on. Hey, Blur from the future here. Just disregard what I just said right there. I thought that these purple people, for the longest time, I thought these purple people were like the Saiyans before they evolved or something like that. But apparently they're just, you know, people that lived on Planet Plant before the Saiyans invaded it and conquered it and just annexed it. So, yeah. The more you know, I guess. Back to the video. Episode of Bardock is not that good, besides the fight with Chilled. Like many people say, it's just an official fanfiction. But hey, it does make for some great AMVs. Next vision for Bardock is a canon retcon for the character. Bardock was only shown in the manga for one panel. Despite Toriyama liking the special, he said it wasn't something he would have written because it was so dark. So let's look at the version that Toriyama did write. I hate it. Yeah, it's not a surprise. I don't like Dragon Ball Minus. Not many people do. Minus is a part of the final chapter of the Jocko the Galactic Patrolman series. It's Akira Toriyama's take on the Bardock story, and my opinion hasn't changed on it. If I had to describe the story in one word, it's sauceless. They took the sauce of Bardock and threw it in the trash. Frieza's motivation is the same as episode of Bardock, except this time, he's also afraid of the legend of the Super Saiyan God. Okay, nothing bad here, just more fuel to Frieza's fear of the Saiyans. The first problem arises when Frieza says he can't wait that long to kill all the Saiyans. Why is he so impatient for every Saiyan to arrive? I can see him doing that in the Bardock special, but here he's scared of the Super Saiyan of legend. So why aren't you making sure that every Saiyan is eradicated? Is he stupid? The second problem comes up with Bardock's hunch that Frieza's going to blow up the planet. Why does he think that? Because that is a big hunch to think that your Emperor is going to kill everyone, instead of having an important meaning about selling a planet or whatnot. We don't even see what history Bardock has with this Frieza, or what he thinks of Frieza. We don't know how Frieza used to act to these versions of the Saiyans in this retcon of the story. This story seems like it depends on what the readers already know of Frieza in the Frieza arc, but this is a prequel story. You need to show why Bardock doesn't trust Frieza and why he may want to kill everyone. And the third problem comes with Bardock's character and the importance of Goku. Bardock being a good guy isn't a bad thing in my opinion. It's just that the story doesn't have much time to convey why Bardock is so good. He's just good because he's good. The reason for Bardock being so good is Goku's mom, Gine, who's honestly just fan service for all the people who wonder who Goku's mom was. Well, here she is! Look at her! Her good nature is why Bardock is so nice. With her being a housewife and caring for her son. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Look, Toriyama isn't the best when it comes to romance. Goku and Chi-Chi don't have much time shown of them raising their kid during the 5-year gap. Vegeta and Bulma just hook up off screen in the manga. Krillin and 18 probably get the best romance with how they were built up, but I wish we saw them get hooked up during the 7-year gap. Gohan and Videl are nice, but she's irrelevant for the Buu arc after the tournaments. Gine just shows up, and Bardock says she's the reason why he cares for his son. A story like Dragon Ball Minus desperately needs more pages or chapters to be a compelling story. They just tell you what the reader should know rather than showing. I also find it funny how Bardock says for Goku to not look at the moon as if he's listening, and then Goku then proceeds to kill Grandpa Gohan. Bardock, why would you say this? Are you stupid? And the manga ends with Goku's parents sending him to Earth to survive. And even though I get tired of people saying that Goku is based off of Superman when he's actually based off of Sun Wukong, this manga doesn't help my defense at all. You see why I say this manga removes the sauce of Bardock and Goku? Goku in the original story was important because of his own journey. He survived the destruction of planet Vegeta because he was born weak and sent to a planet that would be easy to eradicate. It's because he was weak. He survived just out of circumstance. Just because of who he was, a weak Saiyan. His father was disappointed in him, but he became far stronger than anyone could ever imagine and ended up living, unlike Bardock. The reason Goku thrives is because he was a nobody. And the origin is better when it's like that. Now, Dragon Ball Minus doesn't diminish Goku's kindness, because the part where he falls and hit his head isn't retconned. Dragon Ball Minus diminishes Goku's importance and self-growth because his parents actually cared for him. Gine and Bardock being good isn't a bad thing because baby Goku still acts rough. Goku isn't directly good because of his parents, though I do find it odd that they are somewhat the only nice Saiyans among such a barbaric race. I guess Gine is just that special. Again, she needs more time as a character, or Toriyama need to show more nice female Saiyans. The real problem is that Goku lives well because of his parents worrying about his safety. Goku survives because of his parents. The sauce is gone. This story makes Goku important because someone cared about him, where the older version was already better by making Goku important because no one cared about him, and that unimportant Saiyan became the one who avenged them. You know what Minus could have done? Of course, give more chapters to the story, but they could have kept concepts from both stories the same. You can bring the Bardock from the original who didn't care about his son, besides him being Frieza in the future, bring the parts about Saiyans being savages, and Bardock retaliating once his team dies. Minus can keep Frieza being afraid of a Super Saiyan, every Saiyan being called to Planet Vegeta, and most importantly, Gine. You can keep Gine's character as the same, but have Bardock be the deadbeat father in the relationship to show how scummy the Saiyans are. Gine can be the rare Saiyan to actually care for the child other than their power, or show the less power-driven side of the Saiyans. Bardock can be ignorant, two sides of the Saiyans. You can also have her be the one to be suspicious of Frieza, only to be ridiculed by Bardock, and have Bardock get the same punishment when he tells the Saiyans that Dodoria killed his team. This makes her death all the more tragic when she could have had an opportunity to escape with Goku, but was too late and suffers with Bardock. I just gave you my version of Dragon Ball Minus. I give it like an A-. Get it? Cause called Dragon Ball Minus, I graded it with my own score, so it's kind of like the joke is that. The worst version of Bardock's story in my opinion. And sadly, it's the canon version of the story going forward, as we have Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, when watching this in theaters, I was irritated that they were adapting Minus. Honestly, and even after rewatching it, this adaptation is pretty decent. Why? Because they explain why Bardock has a feeling that Frieza is going to kill them. He gives a lot of good reasons. He explains that the Saiyan's workforce has been turned into slavery by Frieza, so no one really likes Frieza. The Frieza Force has a large population, and Bardock is convinced once he's told that Frieza is wondering about the Super Saiyan of Legend. You see how easy it is to fix Minus? With a little bit of exposition. Bardock being good isn't much of a problem. I just spat on my laptop, okay. Bardock being good isn't much of a problem to me as long as he's written well, even if I like OG Bardock more. They also changed one major thing from the manga. Bardock having a change of heart because of Gine to Bardock having a change of heart because he's tired of being a Saiyan that kills. Again, it would be nice to see this change happen, but that would need a lot of screen time for a feature-length movie. And this does make Gine more of a background character who's just Goku's mom rather than having an impact of Bardock. Still, I like this change, but we just need to see a glimpse of Bardock being tired of killing so many people in the movie. And one last flaw of this adaptation is that they skip over the amazing Bardock fight in 15 seconds. Not one last hurrah, no glorious HD version of the scene. Fine, whatever. I give this adaptation a B-. And now we arrive at the final and current version of Bardock, the Dragon Ball Super version. I recently read the Granola Arc after hearing so many people say they hate the arc for the longest time, and honestly, I think the arc is pretty decent. Not amazing. Heck, so many fights are just Goku and Vegeta tagging in and out, but it's pretty alright. Is what I would say if I took out the Bardock parts. Man, Bardock really brought this arc lore for me. And he's only in like 4 chapters. So, let's just get this out of the way. Bardock spares Granola and Mizuli's life because they remind him of how he's a father. This is the moment where Bardock gets tired of killing, that's referenced in the Broly movie. Even though I wish Bardock didn't care for his son, it's nice to add on to what the movie didn't show. What really pissed me off is the most obvious problem that everyone was talking about. Bardock's wish. Now, I've seen multiple people translate this thankfully, but I'm convinced that Bardock had wished his sons to grow up well. When first reading this, I had misinterpreted this as Goku being alive after all this time because of Bardock, but thankfully, someone had told me that the wish had only applied to Goku and Raditz's childhood. So instead of being 100% horrible, the wish is only 50% horrible, because it gets rid of the stakes in half of Dragon Ball. Kid Goku survives in Dragon Ball because of Bardock's wish.
But sure, I'd wish that my sons end up thriving.
And even Vegeta states that's what happens in Chapter 84. That Goku was sent into Earth because of a wish, and because Bardock cared for him. Are there any more retcons or plot points that needed to be added to Goku's backstory? You're telling me...
Down Ray! What? How? How did you survive my Dodon Ray? You should be dead, boy! That's right, son. Because you believed that I was with you this entire time is why you're still alive.
Thank you, Bardock.
Who the fuck is Bardock?
You were foolish to challenge me, boy. Now witness the start of King Piccolo's reign with your painful death!
Nuh-uh. My father wished upon Shenron so I would grow up safe.
What does that even mean?
Your defeat.
No, seriously, what does that mean? Now, son Goku, you shall perish in front of your friends, as I will avenge the fallen King Piccolo!
Try you won, Piccolo. No matter what you got up your sleeve, you can't kill me.
I can't kill you? And why is that?
It's like what I said when I was younger. My father, Bardock.
Oh, come, not this again.
He wished upon the Dragon Ball so I would thrive.
What does that mean?
So, I'm gonna defeat you, here and now!
What does that even mean?
Now, there's still arguments today about whether the wish was even granted, whether Bardock even made the wish, or even if the Namekian, I forgot his name, even if the Namekian even made the wish for Bardock. I really want to think that the wish wasn't actually granted. But it's just this little panel that Vegeta said. Like, I don't know whether to believe that what Vegeta is saying is true, because they don't make a joke about it. Like, I don't know if Vegeta is just getting all mad about this, or if he's actually saying the truth, that Bardock actually made the wish, or that the Namekian actually made the wish for Bardock. Like, it's just, like, I don't know, man. If they put a small joke after what Vegeta said, like Goku saying, "Oh, don't worry, Vegeta, my father didn't even know the Dragon Balls existed, he was just making an answer. He was just trying to look out for his kids," then yeah, I would believe that the wish didn't come true, but they don't make a joke about it. They make it seem like Vegeta is being serious about this, so I don't know if the wish was actually made or if it wasn't. And I'm going to have to believe that the wish was made, because they don't try to like joke around it. It just seems like wishful thinking. Either way, I do like the intention behind the wish, that Bardock was trying to take care of his sons. That seems endearing and goes with the arc, but like, I don't know, they should have just thought it over a little bit with the writing. Because this little line of dialogue seems like it was going to be dissected by lots of Dragon Ball fans now that was written. Either way, man, even after such a stupid wish, I really have to ask myself one question. Is Super Bardock still bad? And my answer is no. Super Bardock as a character is pretty good, but he needed more layers in order to get to that point of being a well-written character. We started off with a poorly expository dump of a story that is minus, then changed and added a few details with the Broly movie, and finalized his character in the Granola Arc. This Bardock is a good character, but even after praising him, he just doesn't come close to the one in Dragon Ball Z. Super Bardock, while having some similarities, is a complete opposite of Z Bardock. Again, I love Z Bardock because he represents what a true Saiyan is, what an evil Goku would have been. Someone that only cares about being powerful, kills without hesitation, and only cares about his son because he's destined to avenge the Saiyans. He meets a tragic fate that was coming to him despite trying to avoid it. His son doesn't care about him because he's just another ruthless Saiyan. Super Bardock cares about victory, is hesitant to kill it since he gets tired of it, cares about his son as a father, and after his story, Goku finally cares about his father and how he's the reason he's alive. Having a different interpretation of the character is not a bad thing. It all matters if they're written well. With Bardock, I'm just so inclined to prefer the original version because of how much of an opposite Super Bardock is. Not just different, mind you, opposite. As much as I like Super Bardock, he kind of diminishes how special Goku is as an individual. Goku doesn't seem special if his family were good Saiyans just like him, actually cared about him, and wished for him to stay well. It's like they took everything that made Bardock stand out and removed it. They removed the sauce. But Toriyama's vision of Bardock does work for the story, especially with the themes of the Broly movie, with the three sons being each other in the future, and the themes of the Granola Arc, to move on from the sins of the past. So, what do you think? What's your favorite version or vision of Bardock? Is it something I didn't mention, like Xenoverse or whatever? Comment, sub, notification bell, and keep that aura blazing.
I can see the future!